Good morning. Today we are going to learn from the English subject for class 10, chapter 2, Nelson Mandela, A Long Walk to Freedom, which was written by Nelson Lala Mandela. Now we are going to see the explanation of page number 16 to 18. The chapter is an extract from Mandela's autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom. It provides us a glimpse of the early life of Nelson Mandela, his education, 30 years in prison, and the pains he had suffered in his young age. It also recounts his fight for the freedom of his own people who were tortured by the whites. Here you can able to see the picture of Nelson Mandela. Before we enter into the lesson, we will get some knowledge about character Nelson Mandela. He was a very famous personality who belongs to South Africa. This lesson is from his autobiography, A Long Walk to Freedom. Here you can able to see the picture of his book, A Long Walk to Freedom. Mandela's African National Congress Party won and he was elected as first black president of South Africa in 1994. He belonged to the Thembu royal family and he addressed as Mediba or Madiba in Xhosa clan. He belongs to the Xhosa clan name and all the people in that clan addressed him as Madiba. He served in 27 years in prison and at most we can count it as 30 years for the abolition of apartheid. Apartheid means a racial discrimination on the basis of color of the skin. He came to known as the father of the nation in South Africa. In South Africa, if you call who was the father of the nation, they will recall the name of Nelson Mandela. When we compare to our India, father of our nation is Mahatma Gandhi ji, who fought for our freedom. 10th May dawned bright and clear. For the past few days, I had been pleasantly besieged by dignitaries and the world leaders who were coming to pay their respects before the inauguration. The inauguration would be the largest gathering ever of international leaders on South Africa's soil. Here, besieged means to be surrounded closely by. So in this passage, the author wants to clear that 10th May, that means 10th May 1994, the day begin with bright and clear sun ray, means every problem remained to be clear, solved. And for the past few days, the Nelson Mandela was surrounded by happy members or the dignitaries of the world from 140 countries around the world leaders and the important members visited Nelson Mandela to show their respect towards the invitation he invited for the inauguration. The inauguration would be considered the largest gathering ever of international leaders on South Africa soil. Before this kind of gathering has not happened. So he's telling that this is the largest gathering ever of international leaders on that soil. Now you can able to see a picture which is related to the Nelson Mandela's inauguration program, which happened at 10th May 1994. Now you are able to see a picture of a lovely sandstone amphitheater formed by the Union buildings in Pretoria. Here you can able to see the picture, the arena and the steps where people can sit very easily and observe the program. The ceremonies took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheater formed by the Union buildings in Pretoria. For decades, this had been the seat of white supremacy, and now it was the site of a rainbow gathering of different colors and nations for the installation of South Africa's first democratic non-racial government. That means, in this passage, the writer is describing about the ceremony which took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheater, which was formed by the Union buildings in Pretoria. Amphitheater here means a building without a roof. A building without a roof with many rows of seats rising in steps, typically ancient Greece and Rome. For decades, this had been the seat of white supremacy. That means 1 decade is equal to 10 years. Here he represents decades. That means many years. For the past many years, this soil was ruled by the white people. White supremacy means the power was given to the white people and they ruled our land. And now it has come to an end, and all the people around the world visited here for the inauguration program is compared to a rainbow gathering of different colors. The rainbow which carries 7 colors. In the same manner, here the author compared the people, those who visited reached the program compared to the rainbow which carries different colors. The different color of the skin, the apartheid system is highlighted by the writer here. And the nation for the installation of South Africa's. Here they are going to start their rule. The installation of South Africa's government, first democratic government, which would be ruled as a non-racial government, means they won't rule by the color of the skin of the people. It will be ruled according to the laws followed by the government only. This is the meaning of the passage described by here. On that lovely autumn day, I was accompanied by my daughter Zenani. On the podium, Mr. De Klerk was sworn in as second deputy president. Then Thabo Mbeki was sworn in as first deputy president. When it was my turn, I pledged to obey and uphold the Constitution and to devote myself to the well-being of the Republic and its people. In this passage, the author describes that it was a lovely autumn day and he was accompanied by his daughter Zenani. Here you can able to see the picture of his daughter Zenani. Then on the stage, Mr. De Klerk was first took the oath as second deputy president, and it was followed by Thabo Mbeki, who also took the oath as a first deputy president. Then it becomes a turn of Nelson Mandela. He also took the pledge that he will obey and he will uphold the constitution means the laws prepared produced by the government, and to devote himself to the well-being of the people and the Republic of the South Africa. After that, he started his inaugural speech in front of the people, those who are watching that program. And he said, and in this passage, we are able to see that podium means dais. Dais or a raised platform at the front of a room or hall. And sworn means pledged or a oath. In the next paragraph, we come to know that he is starting his inauguration speech in front of all the people. Today, all of us do, by our presence here, confer glory and hope to a newborn liberty. Out of the experience of extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud. So for the people, those who reached there, he conferred them. He gave a glory and hope to the new freedom that they have got in the South Africa. And out of the experience, because of his experience and the many extraordinary human disaster has happened in the past, all has brought to a newborn liberty for this soil. It must be born a society that extraordinary human disaster has given a path to make a new society, to born a new society. And in the society, I'm going to becoming the first president. So I will make that humanity to be a proud one. I never make them to lose the liberty once again. And we who were outlaws not so long ago have today been given the grand privilege to be host to the nations of the world on our own soil. We thank all our distinguished international guests for having come to take positions with the people of our country of what is, after all, a common victory for justice, for peace, for human dignity. Then at the time of addressing President Mandela, he welcomed all the guests. He welcomed all the guests and the hosts, those who reached that program in that wonderful soil, and he thanked them for having come to take positions with the people of his country for common victory of justice, peace, and human dignity. Here, dignity means respect. He shows that our people will get the respect in future. We have at last achieved our political emancipation. We pledge ourselves to liberate all our people from the continuing bondage of poverty, deprivation, suffering, gender, and other discrimination. Never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. The sun shall never set on so glorious a human achievement. Let freedom reign. God bless Africa. So in this passage, we come to know that he is telling that after getting this political freedom, his government pledged to liberate people from the bondage of poverty and the deprivation and suffering and other discrimination. And he also wished the sun of freedom to shine on his country forever by getting the shower from the God. He finishing his speech, the inaugural speech. Here, emancipation means freedom from restriction. Deprivation means a state of not having one's rightful benefit. And discrimination means being treated differently or unfavorably. In the sense, when he reached here as a president of South Africa, he never make another chance to rule the country once again by the oppressor due to the apartheid system. He will eradicate, his government will eradicate all the bondage of poverty and the suffering of the people and deprivation and other discrimination which was already constructed by the apartheid system. He will break down all this problem and make a wonderful and beautiful land, and the people those who are going to be here as a Africans will experience the new life in that land. Now, answer the following. I'm going to ask you some questions and you have to give the answer, or you can check your answer after finishing the lesson. Your first question is, who became the first black president of South Africa? Zenani Mandela, Nelson Mandela, Willie Mandela. The correct answer is Nelson Mandela. Second question, ANC stands for African National Congress. Third question, which day is mentioned as important day in this extract? 11th May 1995, 10th May 1993, 10th May 1994. The correct answer is 10th May 1994. Fourth question, where did the ceremonies take place? Open ground, President House, Lovely Sandstone Amphitheater. The correct answer is Lovely Sandstone Amphitheater. Fifth question, can you name any public buildings in India that are made of sandstone? Yes. In India, public buildings like Red Fort, Jumma Masjid, North and South Blocks, Parliament House are all made of sandstone. Question number 6. Find out the synonyms for the following. A. Racial discrimination on the basis of color of the skin. B. Sunrise. C. Placement of person in office with ceremony. Answers are apartheid. B. Dawned. D-A-W-N-E-D. Dawned. C. Installation. Question number 7. Mention the name of the other two persons who also sworn in front of all. The other two persons are Mr. D. Clark, who sworn as second deputy president, and the second one is Thabo Mbeki, who sworn as first deputy president. Question number 8. What does Mandela thank the international leaders for? He thanked the international leaders for coming to take possession with the native people of South Africa. It is common victory for justice, for peace, and for human dignity. Question number 9. This chapter is an extract from Answer is, this chapter is an extract from Mandela's autobiography, A Long Walk to Freedom. Question number 10. Who is the narrator of this chapter? The narrator of this chapter is the author, Nelson Mandela. Thank you.